Zohran Mamdani is a rising force in New York's progressive politics, representing Queens' 36th district and the Democratic Socialists of America. He champions housing justice, immigrant rights, and economic reforms for working-class New Yorkers, drawing on his background as a first-generation Ugandan Indian American and former foreclosure prevention counselor. Mamdani's grassroots approach and bold policies, like universal rent control and reinvesting police funds into social services, have energized supporters and alarmed critics. As his influence grows, attention turns to his inner circle, a team of advisors who help shape his agenda and strategy. These advisors are not just consultants, but active participants in advocacy movements, each bringing distinct ideologies and networks. Their backgrounds and affiliations have sparked debate, with critics warning of radical influences and supporters praising their commitment to challenging the status quo. Understanding Mamdani's advisory team is key to understanding his vision for New York. Let's meet the key figures driving this political project. Murad Awade, president of the New York Immigration Coalition, is a leading advocate for immigrant rights and a core Mamdani advisor. He pushes for taxpayer-funded healthcare for all immigrants and dismantling systems of detention and deportation. Positions that draw both praise and criticism. The coalition's funding from George Soros's Open Society Foundations fuels controversy, with opponents claiming it signals a radical, well-funded agenda. Another influential advisor is Patrick Gaspard, former president of the Open Society Foundations and a veteran Democratic operative. Gaspard's deep ties to progressive institutions provide Mamdani with strategic insight, but also draw scrutiny from critics wary of Soros's influence. Supporters see Awade and Gaspard as principled advocates. Opponents see them as evidence of a broader, controversial progressive infrastructure. Their involvement underscores the ideological battles at the heart of Mamdani's movement. C. Weaver, a prominent housing advocate and DSA member, is central to Mamdani's push for radical housing reform. As former coalition's director for Housing Justice for All, she's championed rent freezes and public control over housing, ideas that have made her both influential and controversial. Critics cite her provocative statements and ties to groups like the Communist Party as evidence of a radical agenda. Supporters argue her boldness is necessary to address New York's housing crisis and empower tenants. Weaver's activism reflects the broader conflict in Mamdani's camp. Is this fearless advocacy or dangerous extremism? Her presence signals Mamdani's commitment to a people-over-profits housing agenda. The debate over Weaver encapsulates the stakes of Mamdani's political project. Faiza Ali, a key advisor, brings deep experience in Muslim community organizing and civic engagement, but her ties to CARE and activist Linda Sarsour have drawn criticism over alleged anti-Israel sentiment. Maya Honda, Mamdani's campaign manager, previously advised Jamal Bowman, whose tenure was marked by controversies over Israel, further fueling debate about the campaign's ideological direction. Critics point to Honda's background as evidence of anti-Israel activism within Mamdani's team. Morris Katz, Mamdani's liaison to the Jewish community, is openly critical of Israeli government policies and amplifies Palestinian casualty reports, making him a divisive figure among mainstream Jewish organizations. Supporters see Ali, Honda, and Katz as voices for marginalized communities and principled dissent. Opponents argue their views reflect a radical, divisive agenda on Middle East issues. The presence of these advisors highlights the campaign's intersection of local and global controversies. Their roles fuel ongoing debate about Mamdani's broader political vision. Mamdani's advisory circle is a group of committed activists and strategists, each with a distinct progressive vision for New York. Their influence shapes his platform on housing, immigration, and foreign policy, grounding it in long-standing advocacy. Critics warn that their ties to radical organizations and major funders like Soros signal a dangerous agenda hostile to capitalism and Israel. Supporters counter that these advisors are principled fighters for justice, not liabilities. The controversy reflects deeper ideological divides in New York and the Democratic Party. Whether seen as radicals or changemakers, Mamdani's advisors ensure his campaign remains a battleground for competing visions of progress. The debate over his brain trust is ultimately a debate over the city's and the party's future.